just really to sort of update you what we're doing as a partnership response to cost of living. So we're building on a lot of the work we did through COVID, which was about not just about a public sector response. It's how do we work with voluntary community sector? How do we work with parish councils? How do we work with local community groups? We put a really strong network in place through COVID. So with the cost of living, what we're doing is building on what's already there. And we've learned quite a bit about what didn't work so well in COVID. So one of the things that we've spent an awful lot of time on is developing good information and advice in one place. And that's why we've developed the Here to Help brand. So basically that then links to loads of different information sources, not just about what the council are doing. So you have to go somewhere else for some further information. So it's aligning all of that. Our response is sort of in 4 parts. So the first thing is, how do we support people? So that's access to information, advice. Are we supporting people to access the grants and all of the financial support that they need? The second part is about how we work in partnership. So we're working very closely with health colleagues. So GPs across Solihull will shortly be sending a text out to every patient, telling them about the Here to Help, and it's getting that information out. The leaflet that we've printed, and there's 15,000 of these leaflets that have been posted out by Age UK to everybody who's over the age of 75. So again, it's using all of those networks and using the groups that are better to get to the right people. So working with Carers Trust, we give them leaflets. They know who they can target, their mailing lists. The third thing really is also about how we support our own staff and businesses, because this isn't just hitting small groups of people. There are people who will be affected by this who aren't entitled to any benefits, who are working and are struggling. So it's how do we reach those people who we don't normally reach? So there's a big aspect there. And then the fourth part is, are we supporting people to manage their energy efficiency? So that's, can people access grants to insulate their homes, working with Act on Energy closely around how people manage their utility bills. What we're seeing, well, one of the things that we've established is we have a weekly lead officer group, which has got representatives from the police, fire, as well as council, as well as health. It's very dynamic, it's very reactive. What are we seeing? What do we need to do? That will continue all the way through. The other thing that we're seeing is increased access to people seeking advice early, which it's a bit of a double-edged sword. We've got a lot of people seeking advice because they're anxious, that aren't actually in difficulty yet. So that's good in some respects, that people are looking for support before they get into problem. But the levels of anxiety that we're seeing out there is not good. You know, the other part that we're looking at, and you've probably heard things called about warm hubs, warm spaces, warm welcome. One of the things that we've learnt from COVID is actually it doesn't always have to be the council, because actually the council isn't always the best people to reach out. So one of the things we're doing is we're working with all our community partners so we can support them to open their buildings. But it's not just about open a building so people can come in and get warm. And it's a bit of a pet hate of mine, because my mum would never have took us into a building just to get warm. She would take us to do interesting activities and do fun stuff. So it's about what are we offering people when they're coming into these spaces. So that's really important. So we're using the work we do around culture and art to underpin some of that stuff. We're actually talking to some pubs about what they can do, because some people would rather go and sit in a pub. So there's a load of options out there. And I think my key message is this is a collective response that's required. And we're all good at some things, and some groups are better at things than we are. Just to finish before we move on, because I know I'm probably taking longer than I should. I was asked last week by somebody, is there anything we're not doing? And my response was, you tell me. And I think that is my offer to everybody here tonight. If you think there is something that's obvious that we're not doing, or something you want to know, are we doing it, then please ask. No idea is a stupid idea.